Is it really possible to feel 30 years younger in just 3 minutes a day? If you're watching this, chances are you've had days where your body just doesn't move the way it used to. Your knees ache. Your balance feels shaky. Simple tasks like climbing stairs or carrying groceries feel heavier than they did a few years ago. You're not alone. But what if I told you that even at 84, you could feel like you're 50 again, just by changing a few habits that take almost no time at all? In this video, I'm going to share 5 simple but powerful daily practices that can literally turn back the clock on how your body feels. These aren't gimmicks, and they're not complicated routines either. Each one takes about 3 minutes or less, and they've helped countless people like you regain strength, energy, and confidence in their bodies. Now, before we dive in, let me be clear, this isn't a magical fix. But if you stick with these 5 steps, you'll likely start to notice changes you didn't think were possible at your age. Maybe it's waking up with less stiffness. Maybe it's walking longer without getting winded. Or maybe it's just having that sense of control over your own body again, something many people feel slipping away with age. The truth is, feeling young isn't about chasing youth. It's about preserving function, energy, and joy in the years you still have ahead. And the best part? You don't need a gym membership, fancy supplements, or a personal trainer. You just need commitment, consistency, and 3 minutes a day. So stay with me until the end because each step builds on the last. By the time we get to the 5th one, you might just realize that growing older doesn't have to mean growing weaker. In fact, you might even feel better than you did 20 years ago. Let's get started. Number 1, morning joint activation. One of the biggest reasons older adults feel stiff in the morning isn't because their muscles are weak. It's because their joints haven't been woken up after hours of lying still. The fluid around your joints thickens slightly, almost like syrup on a cold morning. When you hop out of bed without gently warming up your body, it's no surprise your knees creak or your back tightens. The solution? A 3-minute morning movement ritual focused on your major joints, especially your hips, knees, ankles, and shoulders. No need for yoga mats or equipment. Just sit at the edge of your bed and slowly rotate your ankles 10 times in each direction. Then your knees. Gently twist your torso side to side. Finish with shoulder rolls and neck turns. What you're doing here is gently circulating synovial fluid, which helps your joints glide smoothly and reduces that rusty grinding feeling so many of us wake up with. It might seem too simple to matter, but this gentle prep is the difference between shuffling out of bed or stepping into your day with confidence. There's another benefit people don't always think about. These movements send a signal to your brain that it's time to switch on. For folks in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, this is critical. Your coordination, balance, and mood are all tied to how your nervous system fires up after rest. By priming your joints and engaging your core, even a little, you're also boosting mental clarity and reducing the fog that can linger in the early hours. I knew a man named Edward, 81 years old, who started each day just like this. Before this habit, he needed a hand just to get out of bed. After 2 weeks, he wasn't just getting up on his own, he was making breakfast for his wife again. That's the power of these 3 mindful minutes. The goal isn't to touch your toes. The goal is to feel steady on your feet and reduce the risk of falls or joint strain. Every fall prevented is a year of independence preserved. So if you've been skipping movement in the morning because it sounds tiring or you think you're too old, remember this. Your body is a tool. It doesn't break from use, it breaks from neglect. A few minutes of motion is like oil for the engine. It keeps everything running smoothly. Number 2, deep breathing reset. What many people don't realize is that energy doesn't just come from food or sleep, it comes from oxygen. And how you breathe in those first few minutes after waking up can either recharge your battery or drain it before the day even begins. Shallow breathing, which most of us unconsciously fall into, sends a signal to the body that it's under stress even when we're not. That's why starting your day with a simple deep breathing exercise can completely shift how you feel. Just 3 minutes of slow, intentional breathing, preferably with your eyes closed, feet flat on the floor, and hands resting on your belly can lower cortisol, regulate heart rate, calm the nervous system. It centers you before the chaos of the day begins. I knew a woman named Linda, 77 years old, who used to wake up every morning with her heart racing. Her doctor ran all sorts of tests, but the results came back normal. Turns out it wasn't her heart. It was anxiety. When she began doing this 3-minute breathing reset every morning, she told me her mornings felt entirely different. Instead of feeling like she was chasing the day, she felt like she was leading it. That's a powerful shift. The key here isn't to force anything. Don't try to hold your breath or follow some rigid technique. Just breathe in through your nose slowly. Breathe out through your mouth even slower. Let each exhale be like a gentle release. What this does is activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of you that says you're safe, you're calm, you're in control. For older adults, this practice is especially important. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to stress hormones. A simple phone call, a memory, or even silence can cause a surge of adrenaline. But with a breathing practice, you create space between stimulus and response. You teach your body that it doesn't have to react to everything immediately. That control, that calm, that's where real power lives. So don't dismiss this because it sounds too easy. In fact, sometimes the simplest habits are the ones we overlook. But just because something is simple doesn't mean it's not profound. If you commit to just 3 minutes of deep breathing each morning, I promise you'll notice something. Maybe not on day 1, but by day 5, your mornings might start to feel less like a race and more like a rhythm. And that rhythm, over time, becomes your strength. Number 3, leg activation routine. There's something almost magical about waking up your legs the right way. Most people go from bed to kitchen, straight into the day, with barely a moment to stretch or move. But here's the thing, your legs are like the roots of a tree. If they're stiff, tight, or weak, everything else above feels off balance. I've seen it time and time again. People struggle with balance, posture, or low energy, and it all traces back to how they treat their legs in those first few minutes of the day. Take Walter, a 64-year-old man who shared his story with me. He used to feel like his legs were heavyweights when he got out of bed. He blamed it on age, arthritis, even old shoes. But then he started a 3-minute activation routine every morning. It wasn't fancy, just seated marches, gentle toe raises, and slow standing calf lifts while holding onto a chair for support. Within weeks, his balance improved, and he said something that stuck with me. My legs actually want to move again. That kind of shift doesn't come from supplements or gadgets. It comes from habit. This routine doesn't need to be intense or painful. In fact, if it is, you're doing it wrong. What you want is control and connection. Feel your feet making contact with the ground? Sense your calf muscles flexing. Let your thighs engage just enough to remind them, hey, I still need you today. That communication between your brain and your legs is crucial. It's like flipping a switch, and the earlier you flip it, the better the rest of your day will feel. Why does this work so well? Because blood flow equals energy. The minute your leg muscles engage, they draw fresh blood through your lower body, which supports strength, joint health, nerve communication, even circulation to the feet. For seniors who worry about swelling, numbness, or foot pain, this simple morning habit can make a world of difference. It sets the tone. It tells your body, we're up, we're grounded, and we're ready. People often ask me, what's the best exercise for aging legs? My answer? The one you'll actually do. You don't need gym equipment, loud music, or a trainer shouting at you. You just need consistency. 3 minutes. A few mindful movements. Every morning. That's all it takes to strengthen muscles, improve balance, prevent the slow decline that sneaks up when we're not paying attention. Because strong legs aren't about vanity, they're about freedom. The freedom to walk where you want. Carry your own groceries. Get up from a chair without struggling. Live with dignity. So if you haven't given your legs a wake-up call lately, maybe tomorrow morning is the right time. You don't need a perfect plan. Just start. 3 minutes. every day. You'll be surprised how much power is waiting in those steps. Number 4, anti-inflammatory breakfast choice. One of the biggest hidden enemies of aging legs, inflammation. It doesn't shout. It doesn't always show up as pain right away, but it works silently stiffening joints, weakening muscles, and draining energy from your steps. Here's what's surprising. So much of that inflammation starts not in your knees or hips, but on your plate, especially in the first meal of the day. Breakfast sets your rhythm. If your morning meal includes processed sugars, refined carbs, or inflammatory oils, you're sending a message to your body. Get ready for a sluggish, achy day. But the good news? Switching even one part of your breakfast can have a major impact. That's where anti-inflammatory foods like wild blueberries come in. These little berries might look simple, but they pack a serious punch. They're full of compounds that reduce oxidative stress, soothe inflammation, especially in lower joints. I remember Elaine, a 77-year-old woman who still walked every morning, but her knees would swell up by evening. She thought it was just age. Then we looked at her meals, sweetened yogurt and white toast for breakfast. She swapped that for a bowl of oat, topped with wild blueberry, a few walnuts, a sprinkle of cinnamon. Within weeks, she could walk twice as far without that deep ache. It wasn't magic, it was science, and a shift in how she treated her body. The beautiful thing, these foods aren't hard to find. You can buy frozen wild blueberries at most grocery stores. They don't need to be fancy or organic. You just need consistency. When you feed your body what it needs to fight inflammation, it responds with strength not just in how you feel, but in how you move, stand, recover after a long day on your feet. And it's not just blueberries. Other powerful options: turmeric, chia seeds, dark leafy greens. All things you can add to breakfast in under a minute. Some folks make a smoothie. Others prefer a warm bowl. The method doesn't matter as much as the habit, because over time, these small morning choices build a foundation for strong, flexible, dependable legs. Number 5, omega-3, power from cold water fish. There's something remarkable about the way nature provides exactly what we need if we know where to look. And when it comes to keeping your legs strong, stable, and ready to move, the ocean holds one of the best-kept secrets: cold water fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines. These aren't just foods, they're medicine for your muscles, joints, and circulation, especially as we age. Here's why this matters. One of the biggest reasons older adults start feeling that frustrating heaviness or weakness in their legs isn't just muscle loss, it's inflammation in your blood vessels. When circulation slows down, your legs are the first to suffer because they're furthest from your heart. But omega-3 fatty acids in these fish work like a natural lubrication system for your bloodstream. They relax blood vessels, reduce inflammation, allow oxygen-rich blood to reach your lower limbs. I'll never forget Walter, an 82-year-old who told me his legs felt like sandbags every time he climbed stairs. He wasn't overweight, no arthritis, but his doctor confirmed his circulation was sluggish. Then he started eating wild-caught salmon twice a week, lightly grilled with vegetables. He didn't expect miracles, but 2 months later he called me with words that still give me chills. My legs don't argue with me anymore. They cooperate. That wasn't just the fish, it was the steady supply of omega-3Es, calming blood vessel inflammation, helping muscles recover, restoring natural movement. For non-fish eaters, high-quality algae oil supplements work too. What matters is consistency, not perfection. Even inexpensive sardines, those tiny fish in tins, deliver massive benefits if eaten regularly. And remember, what you remove matters too. Walter also cut back on red meat, processed deli slices, foods that thicken blood and constrict circulation. It's not just about adding the good, it's about reducing the bad. Your invitation to stronger legs starting today? So what stood out most to you? Was it how 3 minutes of joint activation can mean the difference between stiffness and freedom? The way deep breathing literally changes your nervous system's response to aging, how leg awakenings prevent decline before it starts, that anti-inflammatory blueberries could be more powerful than pain creams, or that omega-3 EAs act like oil changes for your circulation. Here's the truth. No one tells you small, consistent steps create big changes, even in your 70s and 80s. You don't need a complete life overhaul, expensive supplements, complicated routines. Just a few intentional minutes each day with the right foods and movements can help your legs feel stronger, more stable, alive again. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about honoring your body and giving it what it quietly needs to keep going. Because age doesn't define strength, habits do. And when you feel confident in your steps, everything changes. You'll want to walk outside. You'll stand taller without thinking. You'll rise from chairs without hesitation. That independence, that freedom from worrying about balance or pain with every move is priceless. Your challenge, if you want it, pick one thing from today: the 3-minute joint routine, deep breathing reset, leg activation, anti-inflammatory breakfast tweak, omega-3 boost. Commit to it for just 14 days. Then notice how your legs feel, your energy levels, that subtle confidence returning. When you feel the difference, come back and tell us. Your story could inspire someone else to take their first step. Before you go, if this resonated with you, comment below with which tip excited you most. Subscribe for more science-backed aging insights. Share with someone who's given up on their mobility. Your support helps us create more content that actually changes lives.